Alright, this is what I call a Lipton mill. On account of I saw Tom Lipton carve out a whole bullet vise with one of these. So, undoubtedly, he's good at it. Alright, so, back to trying to fit it together. And I feel like a guy that has no idea what he's doing. If you want to know the truth of the matter. And it's probably not going to get any better. Here's my key. I think the old key might would fit in there. Nope, too long. It's worth a try. Fun for grins. Alright. It's probably, when you're filing or whatever, good to cover up that gear so you don't get filings on it or in it or in the teeth. You know what I mean. Let's put this ring on it. And where's our handle? Here's the handle. And here's the no. Looks like I fit like that. Alright, take a nap. Alright, so I have fitted this thing several different ways, and the fact of the matter is the brass piece doesn't need any shims. The brass gear doesn't need any shims under it. One thing to look out for is don't turn the shaft this way or it'll feed back in there. Just turn it this way until you get everything all put together. Alright? Like I say, I don't have a shim one on it. It feels right. So, it doesn't feel like it's dragging or anything like that. I'm assuming that it's just the way this one is. Alright? Now, we've got a key to go in here, which is pretty short, but it'll do the job. They give you this thick washer with a keyway cut in it. And you'll need it to go out here behind this guy, so that when you put the handle on, it's all going to fit. Otherwise, you might have a problem hitting the body there. And then, of course, you want to find your wrench and tighten it up nicely. Too tight. Gotta have a shim. Alright, so every time you take a shim off the inside, well, then you gotta take a shim off the outside and so on. If you move an inner shim, you gotta either move or add an outer shim, and that gives you a fit along with the rest of it, but it's doable. And so now I've got it where it turns. I'm not crazy about the fact that the key is so short, but I'll think on that. If I need to make it longer, I've got the old key. I can cut it off a little. It'll surely be long enough. This feels right to me. No slack. And see, it works. So that'll do for that. Now all we've got to do is put the limit switch on it. I'm going to have to sit down and think about where I want to put that. Around on the other side, I installed the Z-axis limit switches and such, and hung them off the Z-axis DRO stuff. And this is really good thick, heavy stuff. So I think I'll probably hang the limit switch off of there. It can't do any harm, I don't think. I mean, it's light. It takes a little tiny push to make it activate. And then I'll have to put down here the base for the stops. It's not fun, but that's where it'll have to be, you know. Because there's no place else that's really convenient. So that means I'll have to drill holes in my machine, which I don't really like the idea of, but there you go. I'm not sure how it's going to all work out with this oiler tube going in the side there. I'll have to probably hang it down fairly low to get below that. I've used this strap wrench several times for turning things over there don't have knobs on them while I'm doing the installation. No matter what you're doing, you really should have a strap wrench in your tool collection, because these little guys, they can get a hold of things and apply a lot of pressure without making any scratches or cuts or dents. Sort of non-destructive traction. Alright, now these are the pieces, let me get all these shims out of the way. These are the pieces that make up the support brackets for the stops, and what holds it together is a sort of Mickey Mouse piece of metal in the middle. They do it like this, I guess, to make it easier to ship. You've got this rather thin little piece of metal. It's going to go in there to connect together those two holes. We had the same thing on the Z-axis, same setup. And you just put it together and there you are. So I'm going to put it together while you're taking a nap. The way these limit switches are mounted is on a little piece of metal that kind of got an L shape to it there. And I didn't mention it on the Z-axis installation, but it was just like this. And I took it off and put it in the vise and straightened it up so it was completely flat and straight, because this angle is not conducive to what I'm doing. So that's what I got to do with this one too. Alright, so I've got the Y-axis stops set, and I've mounted them. Mounted the little switch on the Y-axis DRO. I'm sure I'll catch some flack from some viewers for that, but it's pretty darn solid, and the pressure to operate the switch is very light, so I don't think it makes any difference. It's not going to affect anything. Got this end hooked up back here, so let's try it out and see what it does. And zoom it back out. Alright, let's give her a shot. Let me go that way. And we stop. Come this other way. And we stop. So I think that's installed pretty good, though. I haven't finished with the power wires yet. I'll put a power strip back behind it, run all the power wires back to the back, and tie them up neatly with tie wraps, with of course enough room left over for them to move and reach as far as they're going to travel to. So there you are. This one's done. Now then, I've got to be on camera a little bit. Some of you that's been here a long time may remember 2 or 3 years ago, somewhere in there, I made a power down feed for the little grizzly mill. And I used an Arduino for the brains of it, and a little LCD touchscreen, and somebody at that time asked me to share the source code for it. So I did that, and I sent it to them. I sent them the version I was using and the improved version I should have put in it. Later on I did put the improved version in, but I kept thinking, well, everything's right, I need to put this source code in a safe place. And to make a long story short, I didn't, and I had a computer crash, and my part of it's gone. And now I got a viewer asked me if I could send them a copy of that source code. So the only way I can do that is if you're the guy that asked me to send it to you, and if you've still got it, you can send it back to me. That's all I know to tell you. Thanks for viewing. Please subscribe and like the video and subscribe, okay? Have your friends subscribe, and your family, and people you don't even know, okay? Keep on keeping on.